Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at noon.
New for you at noon, a shooting at Grand Forks Air Force Base left 2 airmen dead this morning, according to a release from the Air Force Base. The shooting took place around 4:30 and involved 2 active duty airmen. Joining us live from Grand Forks is Valley News Live's Joshua Peguero with what we know so far. Joshua?
How you doing, Beth? So I just finished talking with the colonel of Grand Forks Air Force Base, and he sends his prayers to the family of those 2 individuals involved. And you mentioned they're both active Air Force members. There was a lot he could not answer. For one, he could not answer why these 2 or why there was a gun in the dormitory of the Air Force Base. He also could not answer the sex and what their roles were and how they knew each other. I asked him if service was involved. He said he could not, he just doesn't know right now. He can't rule that out. It's still early in the investigation. We've seen cars come out of the Air Force Base, which I'm standing in front of. It's still normal. Everything is about business. And again, there's also resources being dedicated to those Air Force members who might have knew these 2 individuals. And most of those resources are for mental health. So there's a lot we don't know. I'm hoping for the 5 and I can get a little bit more information, but I'm going to send it right back to you in the studio, live in Grand Forks. Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you so much, Joshua. Be sure and stay tuned here to Valley News Live, and of course, check our VNL News app and online for updates on this situation. Well, temperatures are continuing to rise here in the noon hour. Just how high will we go, though? Let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green for the latest.
Good afternoon. We are really feeling the heat in the valley today. 1st of June, it's the first day of summertime, and we're looking at conditions that are feeling like it and looking like it out there. We've got plenty of sunshine out there right now, lots of sun after those storms moved through earlier this morning in parts of the valley. Let's take a look at those temperatures. Fargo at 84 degrees at the noon hour, so well on our way. It's 82 in Grand Forks. Notice Bemidji, it took a while for the clouds to clear out there, so we're a little cooler at 75, and Jamestown's at 83. And here's a look at that. We saw those rain and thunder showers move through early this morning. They've completely cleared, and we've now got clear skies and ample opportunity to heat up here today and potentially reach that 90-degree mark for the first time this season. We're looking at hot and sunny conditions, 90 in Fargo. A lot of us in the Southern Valley may just get there. So heat building in here for today. We'll let you know if this is going to last through the week coming up in your forecast.
All right, thank you so much, Lisa. Well, new at noon, a high-speed chase in Grand Forks ended with a man crashing his car into a home. Grand Forks County deputies responded to a reckless driving complaint on Sunday night. Deputies located the car and attempted to stop it, but the driver took off and sped away south on I-29, reaching speeds of higher than 100 miles an hour. The driver entered Grand Forks city limits before losing control and crashing into a house on East Prairie Wood Drive. That is where they arrested 26-year-old Dustin Meadows. Meadows faces numerous charges, including reckless endangerment and reckless driving. An emergency crews responded to a car fire in South Fargo this morning. First responders were alerted of the fire around 7:45 on 10th Street South. Officials say the driver of the vehicle was on their way to work when the car caught on fire. No injuries were reported. The road was reopened for traffic after about an hour. And North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum has ordered flags across the state to fly at half-staff tomorrow in honor of fallen Grand Forks police officer Cody Holte. Holte was killed in the line of duty on May 27th by Solomon Pendleton, who opened fire on police when they attempted to serve him eviction papers. Flags at all government agencies will fly at half-staff from sunrise to sunset to honor Holte. His funeral, which is open to the public, will be held tomorrow morning at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. You can also watch it on KVLY and streaming on valleynewslive.com. Well, we have new information on the COVID-19 pandemic in Minnesota and North Dakota. In Minnesota, they have reported 361 new cases of COVID-19, along with 10 more deaths linked to the disease. The death toll in the state now sits at 1,050. There are now 5,767 active cases in the state, with 549 patients currently hospitalized. In North Dakota, there are 48 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 within the state. No new deaths have been linked to the illness, meaning the death toll is still at 61. Over 2,000 patients have now recovered, meaning there are 547 active cases in the state. 35 people are currently hospitalized for COVID-19. Another event has been canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2020 Downtown Street Fair was called off this morning. Organizers said they tried to brainstorm alternatives to canceling the event, including moving it to a different date. The decision was made to protect the health and safety of vendors, attendees, and volunteers. Well, police are continuing to investigate a shooting in South Fargo. Officers were called to a parking lot in the 4500 block of 16th Avenue South around midnight and found out an injured woman had been taken to the hospital by a friend. There's still no word on the extent of her injuries or what led up to the shooting, and so far no arrests have been made. It's been 1 week since George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis. Since then, there have been days of protests that have stretched to every corner of the country. CBS's Michael George has the latest from the memorial where Floyd died.
From Portland, Oregon to Virginia Beach, Virginia, demonstrations fanned out across the country over the weekend to demand police accountability after George Floyd was killed 1 week ago in Minneapolis. One of his sons participated in a Black Lives Matter protest in Bryan, Texas.
Everybody's coming out and showing him love. Like,
this is beautiful.
I love this. My heart is really touched by all this.
One large group of protesters in Minneapolis faced a terrifying moment when a tanker barreled toward them on the highway. No one was seriously injured. The driver of the truck was arrested. Derek Chauvin, the officer seen on that video kneeling on Floyd's neck, has been charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter.
He kept his knee in a man's neck that was begging and pleading for breath.
3 other officers involved have been fired but not charged.
People got to understand this is not a black versus white thing. We just want people to hear us.
Many protesters were peaceful and kept the focus on their message, including some of those arrested yesterday.
We are out here, we're peaceful. We are different from whoever's rioting.
But others became violent. Police cars burned in Philadelphia and Boston. Rioters and looters took advantage of the chaos. In Washington, D.C., police fired tear gas after fires were lit near the White House.
No one in there understands. If they understood, they'd be out here with us.
There were moments of solidarity. Police marched in New Jersey, joined hands in West Virginia, and knelt in Iowa. Michael George, CBS News, Minneapolis.
The entire Washington, D.C. National Guard, roughly 1,700 soldiers, is being called in to help with the response to protests outside the White House and elsewhere in the nation's capital. Well, coming up at noon, the country's recent stay-at-home orders have exposed internet issues, some simple solutions to speed things up. But next, the weather to plan your day.